Hello, hello, and welcome. We're gonna make avocado pudding today. So as you can see, I've already got the avocados ready and my blender's already a mess because I had to mix up the milk. The coconut milk was, kind of stuck in the areas. So I also have a few other addeds to the recipe. So if you see the recipe, it might not have the cardamom and the cinnamon in it. That's optional. I love them. I think they add a lot of flavor. So that's completely up to you. This is my maple syrup. This is maple syrup from my tree in the backyard. And yeah, and I have a little hot water just in case it gets really thick. So we are ready to start. I've already measured the coconut milk in there, and then I'll add the avocado. And then I will take the cinnamon. So I will use about a half of a teaspoon of cinnamon. I do love cinnamon. And I'll use a half a teaspoon of cardamom. So again, you can go ahead and start with smaller amounts. I just really love them. So I'm going to use quite a bit of it. And then the cocoa powder. So we take 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So this is some cacao that I use in some of my other teas and recipes that I make. And then the maple syrup. My maple syrup is super sugary, so it'll be extra good. And sometimes I put a little bit extra in there because what can it hurt? So a little more of an overflowing version of that. All right. And then my lid. Put the lid on top and begin the process. So I start on a little slower speed first, and then I'll amp it up a little bit as it starts to blend. It looks like it's going to blend pretty good today. If you don't have a blender, you can mush it up in a bowl or on a plate and then mix it all together, especially if the avocados are really ripe. They mush up pretty well. I always like using a blender, and I like using fun toys, so there it is. What I end up doing is I take the avocado pudding, so there it is. And then I put it in little individual containers. So I'll put it in about 3 or 4 smaller Pyrex containers and put it in the refrigerator. I highly recommend putting it in the refrigerator before you really fully enjoy it. I mean, you can taste it, but it's not going to be as good as when it's cooled down a little bit. So when it comes fresh like this, it can just be like, oh, it's not that great. And then you put it in the refrigerator and let it cool a little bit. It gets really good. So if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. whenshifthappens.org. and at Cami on Instagram. Otherwise, you can email camislaggers@gmail.com. See you soon. Thank you.